Hey Aquarius, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so we take what works and leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. If I don't catch your wavelength, check your other major placements. If I don't catch your wavelength on this one, check your other major placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. And also, if you could, hit that subscribe button and, of course, the thumbs up like button, especially if it resonates with you. I think that's cool. All right, so we're going to start with an intuitive vibe from these oracle cards, Moonology and Work Your Light. Okay. And then we're going to move on to the Muse Tarot for a more traditional tarot spread. And then we'll, although the Muse Tarot, it's new to me this week and it's a little bit difficult for me. So what we've got from the oracle cards. Conclusions are within reach. Your dreams need a practical plan. Getting organized, not trying to, get rich quick. So full moon in Taurus, your dreams need a practical plan. So this is, your dreams need a practical plan. There's something that you want, but there's going to need to be some practical things to consider and some planning aspects here. So, make sure you're not just, it does seem to warn against like laziness and just daydreaming and not really coming up with anything or not really moving towards your goals. But so it kind of warns against just getting stuck in daydream mode. Daydreams are super duper important. Let your mind wander, but at the end of the day, you've got to make that happen. And that takes acting in the physical world. Conclusions are within reach, full moon eclipse. I always see this as sort of, it is eclipse season too. I always see this as sort of the jail door clanging shut on something from your past. So something is concluding, some sort of project or situation is coming to an end here. And then Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty, devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher. So possibly you'll be teaching somebody, or possibly you'll be reaching out for some guidance and some help here. Beauty, devotion, priestess. So there is some sort of guiding force here. It could be you, it could be somebody else. Conclusions are within reach. I think this is more like you can achieve what you're dreaming of, but you might need to reach out for help. You do need to get some practical help with this, or so what you're wanting to do, you can do it, but you're going to have to do some real world work towards it and have a practical plan. You may need to reach out for some help. So I think with that conclusions thing, it's not necessarily that something's ending permanently. I mean, it is, but it can be. It can be, actually. Something's ending permanently. Not ending. There's a checkpoint where you're not going to be going back to the what was prior. So there's a point of no return coming in, a point of where that valve is shutting behind you, where you're moving through the locks, at the Panama Canal, you're moving through the locks and those doors are shutting behind you. But it's for your movement forward. It just means you can't go backward now. I mean, you could go out and turn around and then come back the other way, but you're not going, that's not what we're talking about, though. But you're not going to go backwards. You're not going to go, you're not reverting to the prior state that a situation was in, the prior situation. You're not, you've reached a checkpoint and now you don't go back that way. But you do need to put some work in here and maybe even get some advice and some help here, some assistance. So we're moving on to the Muse Tarot. I've had this deck for a very long time and it didn't call to me until about a week ago, or a little bit longer than that. I've found it too difficult to work with. Had some really great personal readings with it, and now I'm kind of hooked, but also there's a lot of, the names are all different for things, and some of the pictures go off of themes that I don't typically associate with that card. So it can It's glitching a little bit up here, but it's also creating openings for more intuitive readings. I hope. I don't know. I feel a little in over my head here with it. Not quite as familiar as I'd like to be, but we have to... Oh, you know, we'll get there. All right. All right, Aquarius. This is your past, present, inner landscape. What's at issue? Your environment, to-do list, your possible outcome. Okay, I do see a lot of like endings. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. 4 major arcana here. That's very unusual. Most of them today have been minor arcana. So wow. Okay. In your recent past, we have the Priestess card. This is not being able to see where you're going, not understanding what's going on, not being able to see what the situation is, having incomplete information and needing to just trust your intuition completely as you move forward, but not having information. It was important for your journey that you not have this information because so often when we get the end result, we don't actually do the work. It'd be like in a math test, just getting the answer, but you can't show your work and you don't actually know how you got there, right? And the point of the math test is to learn math and to show your mastery of math. So it's totally pointless to give you the answer because what we need is for you to show your work and show that you understand all of these lessons and all of these concepts. So that's a lot of what the High Priestess is, well, this is the Priestess here, is you weren't given the answer because if you'd just been given the answers, you wouldn't have proved your work or gone through the work and gone through the thinking process that you needed to go through in order to get to that answer. So that's what the High Priestess is doing here. That's in your recent past, some very murky path forward where you had to figure out and show your work and to the universe and actually figure out the calculations yourself, and you weren't able to just have the answer. So something mysterious from your past or in your recent past, a little bit strange, or I don't know why I'm doing this, or this seems like the right thing to do, but I'm not sure. Figuring something out and not having seen very clearly where it was all going or what the destination was. In your current situation, you have the Devil card. You have sort of being controlled by something outside of you. Well, no, the devil's often inside of you. But it is this sort of, it can be an addiction card, it can be a bondage card, it can be dealing with obsessions, dealing with anything that interferes with your connection to the divine, your connection to your higher self. Anything that prevents you from moving freely in that direction. That can be any kind of contract, any kind of, bonds that, but it's not got a great vibe to it. It's any kind of bond, any kind of contract, any kind of addiction, feeling stuck, feeling trapped someplace. So the devil energy could be, you're sort of in a way trapped someplace. And it's like you want to be there, but you don't. It's like any addiction, right? You want the high, or you want whatever you're getting out of that situation, but also even more than that, you want freedom from that thing. But it's hard to gain freedom. So there's a sense of bondage here going on with the devil energy in your current situation of feeling stuck, feeling trapped. And then in your inner landscape, you have the Chariot. This is the opposite of the devil energy. This is moving fast, moving quickly, everything coming together and being able to move into the future, into this envisioned future very quickly, very fast, and just having a lot of power and a lot of say over where you're going and your direction. So what's interesting is moving from this devil card in your current situation to the Chariot card in what you're thinking and dreaming of. You're dreaming of freedom. You're dreaming of the freedom to move forward. You're dreaming of the freedom to do what you want to do, to rush towards something, to have this all come together for you, and all the elements come together, and you moving quickly towards something. You would like the freedom to do that, but the devil card is this bondage, this thing that's holding you back from being able to just move freely as your spirit wants. what's at issue here is this Temperance card, a bit of impatience, a bit of not being able to integrate two ideas, or not feeling very integrated. There might be two competing ideas or thoughts or issues going on here that are just too extreme to really be made palatable. There's something here that's a bit too intense, overly intense for you. And the Temperance card in the upright would be about those things coming into being less intense, to being less difficult to work with and deal with. But there's just some really intense energies here that that are not coming together. There might be some impatience. I mean, this Chariot card, this reverse Temperance is also the opposite of the Chariot card. The Chariot card is things coming together and a freedom of movement into the direction that you want. Either, physical movement as far as going on a trip or a journey, or just career movement, or even relationship movement, moving a relationship to exactly where you want it to be. We have this Devil card of not being able to do that, not having that freedom to do that, to move forward the way you'd like. And then we have this Temperance energy, which is things not meshing. She's got, if we think of this as a chariot, this is, our Ben-Hur, all these horses, the horsepower coming into this, the power, the energy coming in to move this thing forward. But we have this Temperance card of things it's like the horses are butting heads. Instead of all moving in one direction, they're all moving in different directions. They're impatient. They want to get going. They don't like this. They don't like that. It's not coming together in this nice, cohesive, gentle manner. It's just a lot of chaos. I'm almost seeing like trying to herd cats. There's just a lot going on here, and it's not coming together into any sort of cohesive thing. Although that's your dream, you're not able to achieve that dream, and possibly one of the reasons you're not able to achieve that dream is there's just things that aren't coming together quite right. They're just not meshing. I'm seeing gears that instead of moving, let's see. Oh my gosh. And instead of connecting like this, they keep connecting like this. So the gears aren't connecting. Things aren't being smoothed over. Things are out of balance and not in harmony. And then in your environment, you have the Lover's card. So you have a choice about how you want to live your life. There's something in your life that's providing you an opportunity to re-examine this question. And the Lovers is about making a decision about what you love, it's more about, there's a choice, and this choice involves the question of how do you make choices and what's your priority when you make choices? How do you prioritize what's important? So it asks the question of what our lives would look like if we chose only what we wanted, if we only went into the direction that we wanted. What if we did have this freedom that we're dreaming of the Chariot card? What would we do with that? How would we move with that? How would that affect our lives, and what choice would we make in this choice that's being presented to us? What would we say if we just got to go with what we wanted and didn't have to be practical, didn't have to think? I mean, this is saying practical, something, you need to be practical about something. But we're talking about like, what if you weren't practical? So there is a choice coming towards you right now, a decision point where you're going to have to choose. You can still choose the path of heart, but you do have to combine that with some practicality and some figuring out some details, right? Or are you going to choose a path that everyone says is the right path, that is easy to explain to people, is easy to explain at parties when people ask, what do you do for a living? And you can say something very neatly and succinctly, and they'll know exactly something about who you are, and they'll know exactly what to do with you. Or are you going to pick something that's a little more off the beaten path, maybe not well understood, maybe not well supported, or just because you love it, even though not everyone is going to understand your path, but choosing a path. So that's a choice that's being presented to you in your environment around you, is this Lover's card. What do you love? What would your life look like if you just were committed to decisions that brought you deep joy and satisfaction? And then it looks like you may have an opportunity here, because your to-do list here, this is 10 of inspiration. This is going to be the 10 of wands. This is going to be putting down a burden. This is no longer yours to carry. You're not carrying water for other people. It's been difficult. It's been long. You don't need to fulfill other people's expectations. You don't need to do that. And the 10 of Inspiration is a card of conclusions, of ending, a journey, a burden is being put down now. You're refusing to carry somebody else's burden anymore. It's a card of freeing yourself, and it comes right underneath this Devil. So you're getting yourself unstuck or untrapped from other people's expectations, or you're getting yourself out from underneath this Devil energy. You're wanting to move into a new inspiring journey, because this one, the journey you've been on, is full of what you should do, other people's expectations. So I like that we're getting your dreams need a powerful plan. It's not that you have the wrong dream. It's that there's some planning that needs to be involved. What if you did go towards your dream? What if you did that and put down other people's expectations, other people's shoulds, what they think you should do, all of that? What if you put all of that down, put it all to the side, and freed yourself from other people's expectations, or freed yourself from whatever it is that has you in bondage? And other people may be looking and saying like, oh, that's it's normal. It's normal to feel that way, or it's normal to do that way. But this is, you're ending this cycle. It's 10 of Inspiration. It's this conclusion of a difficult cycle. So maybe this is this prison door I see here shutting. Maybe it's shutting behind you, and you're not going back to that prison again of what other people think you should do, other people's expectations, this burden that was never really yours to carry to begin with. It was just handed to you, probably well-meaning friends, well-meaning family, well-meaning intentions, but this just isn't yours to carry anymore. You have your own unique individual life, and it's yours to live. You don't need to carry other people's problems or burdens or issues anymore. So it's your to-do list is to choose to put that down, let that go. Letting something go that has not been good. And I'm seeing that once you let that go, you don't have to go back there again. It's not a place where you have to revisit again and again. You let it go, you're done, you move forward with your life with new, more inspiring, more personally inspiring choices. This is what's interesting about it coming in next to this Lover's card. This is a personally inspired, this is a decision point where you get to decide something that's personally inspiring to you. In order to make the right choice, you're going to need to forget what everybody else thinks, forget what everybody else says, put down the burden, and let it go. And then you'll be free to make this decision. Where we're going, a possible outcome here is going to be 5 of Emotions. There may be a grief process here, a very painful grief process. But there is, what I see with this 5 of Emotions is whatever has bedeviled you, whatever has burdened you, there's going to be a thawing. You may need to go through a grief process of all that's been lost as you focused instead on what other people thought you should do, and however other people thought you should live your life, and whatever you missed out on because of those decisions. There's going to be this grief process, but it is a thawing. It's a thawing of something, maybe even a grief that's been frozen in time, a grief that's that you've been stuck in, trapped in, and it's like the ice melting, and it's freeing it's like freeing the gases trapped in the ice or something. It's freeing something up. So you may be dealing with grief over some past situation that you haven't actually allowed yourself to experience before, because you've still been carrying this burden and you've still been burdened by it. But there may be a grief process coming in as you realize that maybe you had missed something, or you made a wrong decision. It's not a wrong decision if you learn from it. So you've made, decisions in the past, and there may also be an issue of having to grieve, if you make a decision that's close to your heart and not deal anymore with other people's expectations or what other people think you should do. If you make that decision it can bring some grief in your life because you'll come up with a lot of opposition. People won't understand. So there could be a grief process coming in here. I think, though, if you continue to carry this burden and refuse to put it down of what you should do and how your life should look, if you refuse to put that burden down, or the burden that other people have asked you to carry, then I do see it's possible you will get frozen in this grief process. If you do put it down, I feel like there's an antique grief process that will need to be dealt with and thawed. And letting something flow finally. It could be letting your emotions flow finally, because this devil energy can have you very stuck, very trapped, very frozen in a suspended animation situation, very frozen in a certain spot, in a certain situation. And this 5 of emotions coming in will free that up, but there's going to be like some sadness and some grief possibly associated with that. If you don't free yourself from this burden, you will possibly, you could be stuck in that grief process for much longer. So, but that freeing up the de-thawing of the devil here, and that release is, it could bring in some strong emotions. Nope, that is the instructions. Where did the card go? Oh, it's in my chair. Okay. Oh, I love this. Especially with that 5 of emotions here, the devil card, this 10 of inspiration sitting right underneath this devil card as far as freeing yourself from these other burdens and having felt trapped by something. Strength of you. Are you doubting your ability to heal or recover? There is nothing that has fundamentally damaged your spirit, your will, or your heart. No matter how broken those parts of you may feel at times, they have only ever been broken to heal stronger. They have not been broken beyond repair and never will be. So that's why I was talking a bit of this healing process, and you might be going back into some grief that got stuck back here in this devil energy as you weren't able to move forward freely. But it's a healing process. So, but there is, we can't just, when you break your arm, you first have to get the x-ray and realize your arm is broken and where, right? You can't, and then we can start the setting and the healing. You first have to acknowledge that the arm got broken. Otherwise no healing can occur after that. So unless that's, I don't know, maybe healing can occur if you just live in denial that your arm is broken. But anyway, I think it's more likely that some sort of truth from this devil energy is going to come out and have you in your feels for a while. But it's a thawing and a healing process. All right, so Aquarius, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments. I very much appreciate them.